What's going on, everybody? It is Gino coming at you to break down UFC 283. Before I get started, if you have not done this yet, but you guys have been great about it, hit my channel with a subscribe, leave me a comment, favorite take or favorite fight on the card this week, or just hit me with a W to boost that algorithm. And finally, like the video because all that, it just helps the traffic on YouTube. So, first, we got Glover Teixeira versus Jamal Hill. Okay, so I am going to go Glover Teixeira. Here's why. Plus money for experienced Glover Teixeira fighting a Jamal Hill, who I still personally question. If you look at his last fight against Santos, Santos I don't think is that good, and I thought he put up a pretty good fight against Hill. Hill did get a finish at the end. And so to that note, if you look, you got Teixeira who can accumulate volume, takedown striking, produce a crazy good score on DraftKings. Then you have Hill who could get a finish. I think it's going to be tough against a guy like Teixeira, but he could. He could get a finish and score well at 8,400. I like the fight. I'm going all in on the fight. It's a 5-round main event fight, and I think there's a high probability that one of these guys scores well in a win. You have Figueiredo versus Moreno. Let's just talk about Moreno's last fight. That was awesome. I love watching him fight Kai Kara France. He got the win. They faced off afterwards. Figgy is good. He is, I mean, you got to respect it. But my thing is, I think Moreno is the fresher fighter, I think. You have Figgy, who's going to have a hard weight cut. And then on top of that, like I said, I just think Moreno's got that gas tank. I think he can wear him down, especially with if he has a bad weight cut. He does show a history of submissions, and he's beaten Figgy by submissions. He could do it here. I'm going to elevate the field. Elevate from the field on both fighters for DraftKings. I think this is a great fight, but I'm not going all in because there are worlds where everybody jumps on this fight and somebody doesn't score. So I think there might be a nice leverage piece. All right, this is going to be real simple. I hate that Burns is minus 435, but I'm sticking to my rule. I don't play $6,000 fighters. If it burns me, it burns me. But looking at the math, the statistics, it's going to work more times than it's not. So I don't think Magny wins this. He does have the reach. But I do think Gilbert Burns, I thought his stock went way up against Chimaev. I mean, I hate to say a loss makes your stock move up, but losing to a guy like Chimaev and going the distance to him, I thought that that showed a lot on Gilbert Burns. His scores range from 75 to 100. So my pick's going to be Burns. It's going to be Burns or pass, but I'm not going crazy with him at 9,300. Now we have Jessica Andrade versus Lauren Murphy, another one. We don't fight 6K fighters. You look at Andrade, I'm really interested to see, because I love finding these female fighters that are favorites in these spots and using them as leverage if they're lesser owned. She has 16 confirmed finishes out of her 23 wins. She has a 2 to 3 takedown average. She's plus 300 to get a round 1 submission. I think she accumulates volume styles on Murphy and gets it done, or she can just get her out quick and get an early finish bonus. I pick an Andrade, and it's going to be a draw or pass for me on DK. This one's interesting. You have the Bear Jew Craig versus Johnny Walker. Johnny came out, looked really good in his last fight, but I think Paul Craig gets this as a dog, because if you look at Craig, he's got that submission upside, and I think I could see this in and up on the ground. I don't really see him being interested in like giving Johnny those opportunities on the feet to be explosive and land something. I think that this thing somehow gets to the ground, and I think Craig flips a submission on Walker. Walker has gotten better. I think he's worth investing in. Because, like I said, I mean, the under 1.5 is minus 185. Somebody is probably going to get finished here quick. Nobody's priced above 9K. My pick is Craig, but I am leveraging ownership on Craig by going above the field, and I'm going to elevate the field on Johnny Walker as well. Now you have $7,300 Mauricio Shogun Rua versus Ior Pateria. I'm going Pateria. I think Rua's just getting up there. I just think it's past his time. You look at Pateria, he's plus 110 to get a KO, TKO. He hadn't lost since 2017 prior to his TKO loss to Negro Mariano. But I think Negro Mariano would easily do that to Rua at this point in Rua's career. I hate it. You look at Rua, he was finished by Craig recently, and he lost a split to OSP. and it's minus 165 to end by KO. TKO, I'm going to elevate ownership on both guys. Don't know how much, but my pick is Pereira, KO, TKO. Now you have Bruno Ferreira versus Gregory Robocop Rodriguez. I'm going all in on the fight. It's kind of risky, but I am going to go all in. I like Ferreira better than I like Rodriguez. I think he could get a win here at 7,100. Ferreira is 9-0. Going back and watching some of his fights, he's talented. He's just not fighting as good of competition. Most of his wins are round one finishes. You know who this reminds me of? I can't remember a guy's name. I gotta have to look it up after I leave because I'm gonna spend the whole show trying to remember it. But a man that fought Mays recently, we looked at him. Yeah, he hasn't fought anybody. He fought the human pair, okay? But he did what he was supposed to do against him, so he's unknown, and you get him at a value price. And that's kind of how I'm taking this Ferreira. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But I pick it Ferreira. I'm going all in on the fight, though, because I do see many worlds where Rodriguez scores well. If you look at his last DK fights, 108, 141, 119 in his last three. He's got the knockdown upside and power. Now you got Thiago Moises versus Costa. I'm going to go Thiago Moises. My eyes are on Moises for leverage, and I will elevate on Costa as well. I like Costa. I think this is a major step up for him. If you look at it, he, most of his fights are in lower promotions. His recent LFA TKO win against Melo, that was pretty impressive if you go back and watch it. But Melo is not Thiago Moises. I think that Thiago Moises, I could see him hitting that plus 175 submission. And he's plus 380 to do it in round one. The under 2.5 is plus 105. So I'm the fact that he's plus 380 to get a submission, Moises is, and then the under 2.5 is plus money. I'm really, now that I'm talking about it, I'm looking at that under. Looks really nice. But for DraftKings, I'm going Moises, and I'm going to be elevated on both guys. Lazez versus Bone Fiend. You have Bone Fiend. I really like him. If you go back and watch his film, he's pretty tough guy. And he can get after it. He's undefeated. He has a mixture of KO, TKO, and submission finishes throughout his wins. If you look at it, he's plus 180 to get a submission. He's plus 350 to get a KO, TKO. With that plus 180 submission, he's plus 400 to do it in round one submission. The fight itself is plus 175 to end by submission. I'm going high ownership on both fighters. You look at Lazez, he showed potential for takedown upside. He showed spurts of that. He did lose a TKO to Warley Alves, which I don't love. He, in this spot, is plus 350 to get a decision, plus 400 to get a KO, TKO. But I do think Bone Fiend wins as the favorite here. Hold on. Abdu Makarov versus Jailton Almeida. I think Almeida kills him. That's what he's been doing. He's an animal. Okay, let's just look at what the books are saying. Almeida is minus money to get a submission, and he's still minus money to get it in round one. So if you look at it, the under 1.5 is minus 355. Almeida is a minus 950 favorite. He's $9,700, yes, but man, especially if I can get him at reduced ownership because of that price, oh yeah, I like Almeida a lot. Ismail Bone Fiend versus Terrence McKinney. All right, I think the under machine here, I think McKinney comes out, tries to get it done fast. He scored 126, 96, and 104 in his last three wins on DK. I could see him getting an early finish bonus. The under 1.5 is minus 230. But if you look at Bone Fiend, he's only plus 105, and it's for a reason. He hasn't lost since 2014. And this is going to be a good fight. But my thing is, if this fight goes past round one, and Bone Fiend may even be losing, I'm betting him live because I think I just do not see McKinney going 2 rounds with the pace he goes at. If he does, that's amazing cardio. With that being said, this is another fight I'm going all in. And so you'll see I have 3 fights that I'm going all in on this week. And then I'm going to just let the rest sort itself. You have Nicholas Dalby versus Warley Alves. I'm fading the fight altogether. I don't think either guy scores well. You look at Alves, he's the favorite. He hasn't scored over 100 since 2015. Dalby does pass the tough test, but I mean, he does show ability, but his striking volume's low. His takedown and control time, I don't think he gets it here versus a Warley Alves. That's why I'm like, no. So I'm just going to fade the fight, and the over 2.5 is minus 115. So that tells me it could be just a low volume decision. Somebody wins. Nunes versus Dos Santos. There's not much to talk about here. It's going to be Nunes. It's going to be Nunes or pass. She's just the better fighter. She's in a smash spot here. She's an early finish bonus candidate. Against Malecki, she scored 121, getting her out in round 1. 5 of her 6 latest wins have been KO, TKO, and I don't think it stops here against a much less competent Zara Dos Santos. Cody Stamann versus Lacerda. Okay, I chase value. Okay, I do think Stamann wins this more times than not, but here's my thing. I don't think he's minus 340. I don't like that for a gatekeeper type guy. If you look at Sedner Magomedov, yeah, he lost a submission to him. Dvalishvili, he lost a decision to him. Rivera, decision to him. So, if you look at it, the Eddie Wineland fight, that was kind of like a give me, I think, because he's been taking so many beatings. So he did what he's supposed to do against him. But if you look at Lacerda, Lacerda's 12-1. He's an unproven fighter. He had 9 of his 12 wins have been confirmed finishes. He's a submission expert. I could see this thing getting to the ground. Lacerda landing. I don't see Stamann even scoring well on DK. The only time he scored over 100 was when he beat Wineland. And Lacerda, I'm willing to bet good money that Lacerda is better than Wineland. It's going to be Lacerda or pass, and I'm going to wait for ownership because I'm going to see what leverage I may be able to get with Stamann before I say completely that I'm going to fade him. But for right now, I am fading him. You have Marcos versus Oliveira. I am going to go Marcos KO TKO. I'm elevating Marcos, and I'm fading Oliveira. Now, you look at Oliveira, he has 9 finishes. He's lost the decision to Gravely, which I hate. He's relatively inexperienced, and I don't love the Gravely loss again. Now, if you look at Marcos, 7 of his 13 wins have been KO TKO. He has 1 stoppage. He's fought a bunch of no-names, and most recently won a decision in the Contender Series. If you look at the no-name fights, he looked pretty good against them. And he's fighting a person with not much UFC experience that's priced at minus 155, 8,600. So it's going to be elevated Marcos, which won't be hard to get elevated ownership and leverage because he's probably going to be low owned. And I am going to fade Oliveira. All right, guys. Hey, so that's it for the full card breakdown. If you have any questions, hit me up on Twitter. I'm at TheRealGC9. Also, I'm in the Discord 24/7, talking with the Army, DFS Army. Join us today. If you use my promo code, you'll get 10% off for life. They're running a bunch of specials right now. You save a bunch of money. We've got tons of millionaire makers, tons of guys taking down tournaments in the NFL. I know NFL's in it, but now we got NBA. We do soccer. We do literally every sport you can imagine. So please hit us up. Give us a look. A lot of value and a lot of good deals. And why not get somewhere that's going to help you win some money? Because it will. All right. Thanks, guys. Have a good one. Bye.